What's going on, guys? Welcome to Blind Man Overland. And it is currently Saturday, April something. It's the beginning of April. All the days are starting to blur together due to the COVID-19 stuff. So instead of going out and camping this weekend, I've got my truck ripped apart, I've got the tent off and the rack off because I am mocking up the new camper and getting everything organized for that. So I'm not in a position right now to go camping. So instead, what I've decided to do is to kind of just hang out with you guys here in my shitty little apartment and go through what I'm currently using for my bins and organization within my truck. So stay tuned and we will go through that together. So if you're wondering what these bins are and if you can get them, they are NATO boxes, which basically means that they can be transported nationally and globally with relative ease because they fit a very specific dimension size. At least that's my understanding of them. They also are stackable, they're lockable, and with a little bit of DIYing, they're also waterproof. Or relatively waterproof. I am using two of them, which I did pick up from Renee at Off Grid Trek. So shout out to Renee. I believe they're $40 each, and you can get the ones like I have with the flat lid, and then you can also get ones that have a higher lid. Gives you some more volume. I believe they're also stackable. So basically just wanted to go with you guys exactly what I am using. And what I have in each bin. So first, obviously, just some cleaning wipes. These are just cheap dollar store cleaning wipes that I picked up, and I have in here at all times. And then I've got an Ocean Pack. I believe this is a 3-liter, which is just a dry bag that I've sewn a blind man patch to. And this basically inside, this keeps all of my dirty dishware. So I got 2 scrub brushes in there and a scrub brush for the barbecue grill. And that just kind of stays in here so that if I have to do something with that, it kind of keeps it as clean as it could possibly be inside my box. So yeah. Then I got a thing of Dial hand soap. Just good to have hand soap. Wash your hands. A little bag with my salt and pepper in it. And this does stay separate from my other spices because sometimes I don't use other spices. Like if I'm cooking a steak, I'll just use some salt and pepper. I've got a small frying pan. This is just a typical frying pan you're gonna see in the house. Just one that I just recently switched to. I haven't actually used it out there yet because I usually use a cast iron. But I'm going to go something a little lighter, so I'm going to give this a go. Dawn dish soap, obviously for doing dishes. I keep a spare coffee mug in here at all times. Then I've got my travel towel. So this is just a Sea to Summit tech towel. Dries really fast and packs up pretty easily too. It's also microfiber. And then down here, I've got these light pods that just, when you turn them on, you just hit the center buttons, and they're just like that. These are actually pretty slick. They come with these little waterproof or water-resistant suction cups, which I think are pretty neat. And then on the other side, they've got a small a small magnet that you can use to connect those to your truck, and sometimes I'll do that. I'll just turn them on and stick them right to my truck and use those. They're really handy. They do just take, I believe it's AA batteries. They just untwist, or AAA batteries, and then I actually haven't had to replace the batteries on these yet, and I've used them for 3 or 4 campouts, and they've been on for quite a while. So they are LED, and yeah, I like them a lot. Pretty cool. I picked these up, I think, at Princess Auto. So Princess Auto, or what would that equivalent be in the States? Maybe Pep Boys or Harbor Freight? Probably Harbor Freight. If you're in America, you can probably pick these up at Harbor Freight or something similar too. Then I've got my cedar plank. Then I also picked these up at Princess Auto. These are just some solar lights that kind of give a little bit of an ambiance. You can kind of see they're trying to turn on there. They're obviously not charged. But these are LED. They just kind of give a little ambiance to the camp if I'm gonna do that kind of thing. And then obviously some kitchen stuff. This is basically my kitchen box. If I didn't say that already, this is essentially a kitchen box. And then I've got a smaller Tupperware container, and inside that Tupperware container I keep my little emergency coffee cup in case I don't have a coffee cup. I keep some general spices. I like sage in a lot of my food, and then some cheapy little barbecue spices, a can opener, another wooden spoon, a lighter, my favorite spork of all time. This is just an MSR folding spork, but it opens quite long, so I can get nice and deep in those mountain houses if I'm backpacking. And I really like it. It's a nice little spork, pretty cheap. And then I got some fire starter right here, just some Coughlin's fire starter. Coughlin's they're probably like the OG when it comes to camping equipment. And then I got a knife and a thermometer just for cooking. I like cooking with thermometers. I like knowing when my food's done. And then I've got a couple of goodies here. I've got my drip coffee maker dripper. I've had this thing for quite a while. It was given to me as a gift from my brother, and I really like it. It's a nice to have in case I forget a French press or something like that, or a coffee press. It's really, really nice. And then a couple of these as well. These are just collapsing bowls, which are really nice for Zeus, because Zeus can get his water and his food if I'm not using them. So then I got a pair of scissors in there as well, and a measuring cup. And that's in there. This white bin comes out and connects into the hole on my OZ Trail camp table, which is in the back of my truck at all times. And normally this stuff is as well. It's just not right now, to be honest. And then on the side here, I got a couple of random things. Got a beer koozie, because you never know when you're going to need a beer koozie. That guy's not supposed to be in there. Then I got my camp shower. So I don't use this often at all, but this is just your standard garbage bag shower, or solar showers, some call them. But they just, you fill that thing up, puppy up with water, and you hang it up in the sun, and then you can kind of have a little shower with it. And it's got a little clip here that you clamp down. You can stop the water or start the water, so if you want to have multiple showers out of one bag, you can. I rarely use it, but it's nice to have. And then on the side here, I've got some tongs and some just some random cookware and stuff. So yeah, that is my my camp kitchen box. Pretty straightforward. Alright guys, so this is my This is box number 2. Let me just get it in the frame here so y'all can kind of see what's going on here. So this is basically my camping box. So in this box I've got everything that I need to go on an actual backpacking trip or something of that variety. When I'm out touring around, sometimes I will during the summer specifically, I'll drive out and park my truck and set up like a base camp and kind of just wander around. So yeah, in this box basically I've got my MSR Microzoid. This is a one-man backpacking tent, and it is like an OG one-man backpacking tent. I picked this up quite a few years ago, and when I picked it up it was already quite old. But it's a really nice one-man backpacking tent that I use quite a bit. And then I've got a small mesh bag, and inside that mesh bag I've got my tent footprint, and then behind that I've got my dehydrating meal. Just kind of puts there, keeps it hot so when it dehydrates. And then inside there I've got just a little mini first aid kit. Just kind of a small little emergency kit to go backpacking with. Yeah. Then I've got my Thermarest. I believe this is the Neo Air. Yeah, so this is the Neo Air Thermarest. I love it. You know what? I saved up to buy this actually because I had been waiting to buy a really nice ultralight sleeping pad. And I know some of you hardcore backpackers out there, hardcore ultralight backpackers, probably wouldn't consider this one an ultralight. But it is not a Neo Air X Light, it is just the Neo Air. But it is very, very light, and it packs up nice and small. And I really like it, very comfortable. Then I've got my Osprey 2-liter mountain fountain, or Platypus. Platypus is just a different brand, but that's that. Then I've got my Keith Titanium 450 milliliter cup, and inside that cup I've got my, this is a really cool stove actually. This is an an Amazon stove that's pretty popular with thrifty backpackers such as myself. This is an E-Tech City. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know how to do this focus thing on this camera. So that is an E-Tech City backpacking stove. It just folds out as such, and then it connects to a nice little propane or fuel bottle, and it's got a self-starting igniter, which is kind of cool. Not that that really matters when you're out chomping around, but yeah. But I keep those things together because that's my typical backpacking stove setup. And then I've got a nice big bottle of Primus fuel. Then I've got some various compression sacks. So I've got an Outdoor Research. This is just a sill, or just a nylon basic ultralight compression sack. And then I got a Coughlin's 15-liter. Then I've got my Rab Sill Tarp. Sill Tarp 2, actually. This tarp is amazing. Sometimes I will just take this, and I won't even take the MSR, and I'll just camp under a tarp, because it's nice and big. It keeps you pretty comfortable. I think I've got some pictures on my Instagram, actually, last summer when we went to the BC Overland Rally. I've got some pictures of me using this tarp, so very, very awesome tarp. Extremely comfortable. Very, very nice. Then I've got a Coughlin's folding camp stove. This is actually, the reason I have this stove is kind of a sentimental reason. This style of stove was the very, very first piece of camping gear that I think I ever purchased as like a 12-year-old boy. So I just really like it. It's a little bit of nostalgia. It kind of folds out. You've probably all seen these ones, but it kind of folds out, and then it turns into like a little box, and then you kind of You know, you sit it and then you put a little candle or a SBIT fuel tab or a fuel canister in there, and then you can kind of burn it. You've obviously said this one's obviously seen some use, so 1, 2, 3, just like that. Okay. Then I've got my backpacking hammock. This is not a fancy backpacking hammock, to be honest. This is a very cheap backpacking hammock. It is an Amazon backpacking hammock, and I have used it a lot. There is not a single rip, not a single hole. So I would actually encourage you to pick one of these cheap things up when the world stops burning down. And then I've got another backpacking towel. This is the Sea to Summit Dry Light. So it's basically, this would be like a hand or a face cloth compared to anything else that you're going to use. But another Sea to Summit item. And then, man, I got a lot of Sea to Summit gear. A Sea to Summit Mosquito Pyramid Net. This is just a single. This goes with my sill tarp usually, because I cannot stand bugs and I like to camp in the spring and in the fall. And we do get some creepy crawlers in both those seasons. So, Sea to Summit Pyramid Bug Net. I've only used this once or twice, so I can't actually give you a good, decent review on it, but kept the bugs off of me. So, then I got another compression sack here. Oh, look at that, Sea to Summit. Jeez. Sea to Summit. This is a waterproof compression sack, so this is what I'll take if I am going on a canoe trip, or if I just don't have a rain cover on my pack, or just want to keep something exposed to the elements instead of keeping it somewhere safe. I can use that. Then I've got some Outdoor Research gaiters, Bear Bell, and then I've got a Sea to Summit stuff sack that I got for Christmas from my dad one year. Inside that I've got my MSR, I don't know what model this is, but this is a water filter. I use it quite a bit, and I have tested my water, and it still seems to be working just fine. So, and then I've got my Jet Boil flipper flapper spatula, and then my MSR pot scrubber, which is, this thing is awesome. Gets in there with all the edges and stuff. Nice little tool. And then I got my Ben's Mosquito Net. This gets in your face. Sometimes if you're camping out just kind of under the stars, you can actually just throw this and chuck crawl in your sleeping bag and you'll be good. And then inside I've got my Black Diamond headlamp. I think this thing was pretty cheap. I think this was only like 40 bucks. And then some Sea to Summit titanium cutlery, just to kind of keep my weight down as much as I can. And then I've got my Industry balaclava, or neck tube thing, sort of like a buff, but it's made by Industry, which is a local skate company that I like to support because you gotta support local. And then I've also got another Bear Bell with a carabiner on it. And these are vacuum bags, so you can vacuum seal them. I actually use these for laundry bags because I put my dirty laundry in there and then I vacuum all the air out, and it kind of helps keep the dirty laundry smell from getting all up in my business. And that's what I've got in my second NATO box. So usually this guy will just kind of get tossed in there if I'm going for more than a couple of days, or if I'm going out there for, if I'm going out somewhere for, you know, if I'm traveling to BC and I want to do some hikes around there. This guy will get just tossed right in the back of the truck, and away we go.
Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I know it was kind of a boring video. I don't really like doing these videos that much, because I like getting out there and actually doing this stuff. And unfortunately a lot of us can't right now, or at least we're being told we shouldn't. So, might be one of those times where you should probably take the advice of your leaders. So that's what I'm doing. I didn't get a chance to put the lift kit in this weekend. So it's now Sunday night at around 9 o'clock. I don't know when I'm going to upload this video. Might be tonight, might be tomorrow. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys a thanks for coming along and hanging out, and hopefully we'll be able to get the lift kit. And this week is a big week for the camper build on the truck, so hopefully we can get that done too, or at least get it to the point where we can use it a little bit and see what the next design is. So take it easy, everybody. I hope you all have a great weekend. Stay safe, and hopefully we can all get through this crap and come out better on the other side. See ya.